But Steve was talking about he went to see Bob Dylan recently.
How recent?
This spring, like in February. It was an 800-person theater. And
Bob Dylan, just Bob or a band? Or
Bob and his band. The band was great. But Bob can hardly stand, and he can't project his voice anymore.
Well, it was part of his thing anyway.
But this time, it's not part of his shtick. He really can't. I mean, now it's real.
Is he voluntarily on tour, though? I mean, that sounds like something you'd want to
That's right.
talk about before you
It's not like a
sold
work
people
release
tickets.
program or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's talk about a shitty label. Wow, they need 10 more records before he die.
Did you enjoy the concert?
It was okay. Actually, it was good because the backup band was good. But when Bob would sing, the band would have to drop it down, make it really quiet, because otherwise you couldn't hear Bob.
Did he have like other singers that would sing his songs and he would kind of harmonize with them?
A lot of the songs I didn't recognize. I think it might be his newer stuff. I'm in his 60s. His original stuff, like when he was at University of Minnesota and the Minneapolis area. And, I don't know, London, New York.
What was it, 10th and Wabasha?
Oh,
isn't it?
Be.
10th and Wabasha or something like that?
I'm not sure.
10th Avenue Freeze Out? Bruce Springsteen? Same thing.
He spent a lot of time in Minneapolis.
Now that guy is still, I saw him about 10 years ago or maybe more, pouring rain, Cubs Stadium, and he just stood out there and played the whole time.
He's an entertainer.
He is an entertainer. His band was kind of backed up. I can't remember if they're under shelter. He just went right out to the end and kept ripping.
Good for him.
God, he was great.
I like Bruce Springsteen. I think he's a great entertainer.
I think he's a great entertainer. I generally don't like him. It's like a lot of entertainers that it's like, just play your song. Do your thing. I don't want to hear about the other shit. You know?
Yeah, right.
I could distinguish between the two. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can enjoy his music and I can enjoy his concert, even if he starts going on a rant or anything else. Tune it out. Enjoy when he does sing.
Well, unless you're going to see Ted Nugent or the guy from Disturbed, Stained or whatever. It's gonna. You know what the message is going to be.
So, who has seen Ted Nugent?
I have not seen Ted Nugent, but I have. There's some Ted in that box.
I was 14 years old.
Ooh. Did he shoot an arrow on stage?
I was freaked out. It was right around 4th of July, and there was all kinds of Hell's Angels in there, and they're shooting out fireworks right inside.
Where venue?
I think it was the Met Center when the Met before
wow.
it was tore down.
Now you're aging yourself.
Oh my God! And I saw things going down in the bathroom, the drug deals, and my eyes were just huge.
Which Ted was not
all the
part
cocaine
of.
You did.
No, I wasn't. I didn't touch anything.
Who'd you go with?
I can't remember.
I mean, a family member.
No, I was dropped off there.
No way! You went by yourself to a Ted Nugent concert?
I must have been there with somebody. Who knows?
That's like Ferris Bueller's
Day
Off
like
situation.
9th grade or whatever. Why would my mom let me go?
That is why I looked up to you in high school.
Because I went to Ted Nugent?
You just did some cool stuff that I was sitting at home listening to the Oak Ridge Boys
I was
something.
right on the verge between Free Range Child and Feral.
Well, you must be the youngest. Are you?
No, I was the middle.
Out of
3. But they...
Okay, that's a real middle. Okay.
But
right.
they let you do your thing. You want to stay out till 3 a.m, although it did eventually stop.
Well, look at you. Look at you with your electrical engineering degree. Where did you go wrong? Where did we fail you? Steve!
Yeah.
Also, our guest...
Something must have gone right.
Can I tell you that this is The Ascertainers? We are a podcast. Have we introduced this episode yet?
We haven't started it, but let's do it.
Okay. All right, so here we are. We're on recording number 2 in the same evening. This is the bonus, the good stuff. we've got the formalities out of the way. We have a guest. It's Mark's friend from high school. Mark described him earlier as his best friend from high school.
Best friend.
Fantastic. That's not
Don't ever accuse him of having good judgment. Just remember that.
But that's not what Steve said. That's weird. Oh, and his name is Steve. Steve, you want to say hello?
Hi.
Hey, thanks, Steve.
All you podcast listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Thousands of podcast listeners. Yes,
they don't call him the best play-by-play in the business for nothing. Sorry, I love that line. Anyway, Bob Uecker, Major League. Anyway, if you have to explain it, it's twice as funny. That's what I had heard before. But it's a fun fact that we have had more guests named Steve than Joe Rogan.
Wow.
2. Well, I don't know how many Joe Rogans have, but we've never had.
But you threw out a factoid like that. I thought you had researched.
Rogen, Joe Rogan, that guy.
Okay.
Not the one, the famous one. Come on, that's crazy. He's got 3 Steves on for sure. But here we are. I'm Jim. I'm the other ascertainer. Did you say hi, Mark?
I am Mark, and hello, everyone.
It's his podcast. He is the pod father.
It's our podcast.
So we decided that for our original episode, which is already in the can, as they say, that we would talk about 1981 music, and we never got to it.
Don't go behind the curtain. We don't want people to understand what really happened.
We want to just keep them in the...
Use terms like in the can. We want stuff like that.
Phrasing. Work for nothing?
Yeah. Steve's like, what? You promised.
That was my best material. Out.
I brought goggles. What? So, anyway.
It's not in the trash can.
All right. It's a can. It's what I think they would say when they were filming with film, cellulose, There's a cellulite. Anyway, where it was in the can meant it was
the metal container.
It was a fiend. Hey, what languages do you speak? Because you're a smart guy. You were national honor. Did you take a language in college?
Yeah, Fortran. C++.
Nerd alert. All right.
They didn't make us do that stuff back then. If I go to a Spanish-speaking country, I can navigate my way through it.
How do you do that?
But you took Spanish.
I did.
I took French.
That was lame.
That was literally my original question, and you gave me this, fucking Star Trek shit.
No, you said what languages do I speak? And I took it in high school, but I'm telling you, that was worthless.
It was.
Yeah.
French was also.
What did you most often die of on Oregon Trail? Dysentery or attacked by settlers?
I never played that.
You never played Oregon Trail?
No.
You never went into that computer room and did the dial-up phone and play Oregon Trail?
Never did.
You did. You know what I'm talking about? The big dot matrix printer.
No, I never.
And what would you buy? What were some of the things you would buy?
Flour.
Hardtack.
That's
the only 2 I know.
There were other bullets.
But you would die of dysentery most of the time.
Because you drank the bad water.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Steve,
I probably did.
And Star Trek was on that one also.
Oh, God. You were hogging that computer. You didn't let anyone else get on it.
I was kind of a nerd in high school. I was like a very geeky, smart.
By the way, you forgot this one.
I did open one, but I didn't do that. But thank you.
You can tell that was a water because that really was crisp. That
was a fresh beer.
That had hope, and I'm going to do a lot of stuff tomorrow in it. Not like the one I just opened. Probably get up around 10. I'm not going to lie. I haven't decided on the AM or PM part either.
So here we are on the second episode of our Ascertainers program. We were talking about 1981 music before, but this episode we're just going to go at it whatever comes to mind. Actually, Steve brought up a lot of good, ideas. Topics.
We go straight to grab bag? I thought
grab bag. I did put some grab bag out there.
Let's talk about our signature sponsor, Newt's, because that's who got us here.
Oh, yeah.
That's who got us famous. Newt's, home of the new San Diego Smash Burger, which I highly recommend. I am digesting one right now. It's too soon. Anyway, and it was delicious. So if you go there, if you get the monthly feature, can't really go wrong. But otherwise, they get like about 30 sandwiches and hamburgers, or burgers. We don't call them hamburgers anymore because there's no ham in them. And you can get fake meat there too, like Martin.
Is that why they named it hamburger, that it actually had ham in it?
No, I think it's because of some guy, the Earl of Hamburger.
I think it's Hamburg, Germany.
All right. Don't make me... Oh, there goes Mark's camera.
I know.
You know what that noise was?
Yes, my camera shut down. Because he's showing us up. And it shuts down when he does it.
I'm sorry. I lied. It's the Earl of Sandwich. So I don't know where the hamburger came from.
I think he just told us.
I made that up.
He did. That you could tell. Really?
That one.
Fished in.
He changed Wikipedia, so it's right now.
That's right.
We call it Stevepedia at my house because of him. So.
And if you go to Newt's, tell him the Ascertainers sent you.
Told you to stop on by. Ask for Sarah, Kayla, Nikki, Dawn, Danica, Andy, Corey, Amelia, MJ,
Cam,
Michaela, and any of the awesome pull tab attendants.
But a big shout out to Sarah tonight.
She was nice to our geeky friend Steve, who knows where the hamburgers originated.
Hamburg, Germany.
And could go to any country and do just fine. Because he could talk to him in 4chan or...
He goes to Liechtenstein and says, yeah. You know, I took Spanish in high school.
It's a universal language for us.
I got nothing. Yeah. Oh, I hate smart people.
Do you carry the cards around with you, your punch cards?
That's right, the IBM punch cards. Do
you carry that fucked up dice with all those sides like in Dungeons and Dragons and just go,
that's right,
I'd like a hotel room and I'll pay this much, and you roll that thing.
Remember the Fortran cards or whatever they were, and if you were registering for classes at University of Minnesota, this is dating ourselves. If you lost one,
you are 1 year older than me, Cal.
He is not.
Can we get out of the 1970s and get on to the 81?
No, I want to talk about how did you guys get girls? I mean, you were so smart. I would have thought only dumb guys got them. And me. I was mid-range smart. I was smart. I was a smart ass. That's as close to smart as I got.
We would put on our spats from marching band, and we were just golden with the chicks.
Just wear those with the short shorts of that day. The John Stockton. A little something hanging out there.
And we pull the socks way up with the colored stripes.
Yes.
On the cap.
Wigwam socks made in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
That's right. A little high step, and what girl can resist that?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I'm erect. Right now.
We are going to get so many more listeners tonight.
Yes, we will.
From the female persuasion.
I'm not sure we're getting the demographic we're really going for, but whatever. C'est la viette, right? Am I right? So in 1981, I think I saw Charlie Daniels Band in concert at the Met.
At the Met.
It's the famous give a guy $20, ask him to buy me 2 beers, and he comes out of the line with 2 beers, and he goes, F you, and walked right by. I'm like, I need a new business model. That's not good. It was a keep the change kind of a situation. He would have made like
kept the whole
out.
thing. Yeah.
He taught me a little School of Hard Knocks lesson there.
That never happened at the liquor store where we grew up because we knew the guys we were asking.
Or we went down to
in a show though. I mean, this is like rando.
On Washington, the Liquor Depot.
That was in the basement of the whatever.
The train station, wasn't it? No,
it was downtown at one of the hotels. It was at street level. It was where all the drunks went in, and then we'd go in there, and the guy'd sell to us. He didn't care.
Right.
We were 15 years old.
Well, Buzz would go in there, and
what would you buy at age 15?
We would buy
because beer wasn't real practical.
Brandy.
Yeah, you would buy like a distilled kind of. Or like T.J. Swan. No, even that was you wanted bang for the buck. You wanted
to buy a pint of blackberry brandy
per square inch.
Southern Comfort.
I don't know if you remember this, but we were up in the Brainerd
Curtis Hotel. It was at the street level of the Curtis Hotel,
Brainerd area, and we were up there. We saw Lamont Cranston that night at.
Wait a sec. What age is this? Are you sure I was with you? I was definitely not there.
I swear you
know
were.
What? That
kind
of leads us into our first grab bag question.
Go ahead.
I don't want to. I don't like that question because I don't like the topic whatsoever. Pick the next one because I don't like talking about getting pulled over and getting away with something because then I think I'll wind up getting pulled over and not get away with something. So next. Oh, well, right. I guess I was already too late, but if you guys want to talk about it, that's fine. No. I'll sit that one out. Is that chair busted? It looks really lame.
Your favorite high school bar?
I think, Popeye's Pub in Rochester. Okay, there's one bar I went to in high school. It had like a semi-truck coming out of the wall, the inside wall by the dance floor. It was quite...
And see, all those people that served us as underage drinkers, that statute of limitations are long gone.
Who would know who was working back then either? We're going to go back to the W-2s in 1980.
Was that Tuesday night?
That's right.
Well, that was Chet. Oh, Chet, you're in trouble, pal.
That's right. That was a wink thing you're not supposed to talk about.
Go ahead and bring up ours.
Manning's.
Yes.
Yeah. Monday Night Football.
Manning's.
Yeah, it was right on top.
Do you remember the original Duck Hunt? But it went across the bar.
Yeah, and you had a big square thing that you would use to shoot?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember playing one of those down in Decorah, Iowa. It's the Haskey's Pub.
See? Your second favorite high school bar.
But that was college. My brother Steve had like a beard in 6th grade, so they would go to the pub in Rochester and like at study hall they would go drink beer. So, yeah. I was somewhat sheltered because my oldest brother basically didn't want me to get in trouble, so he kind of like threatened to beat the crap out of me if I ever smoked weed or anything like that in high school. So what I do right when I got out of high school, that stuff. Anyway, I think the first time I did any of that was with him too, which is weird.
So he was protecting you and corrupting you.
And enabling me.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite a strategy. I was very confused.
That's right. No one's going to corrupt me. You accept me. I'm in charge of corrupting you.
It was
I'll tell you when you're good.
It's like Ike Turner in a way,
I guess.
So we're sitting in Manning's.
Yes. Like what? Are you? It's a Wednesday night.
We were seniors that night.
Well, see, there used to be
when the 2 teachers walked in.
There used to be Young Life on Monday night.
Right.
I would tell my mom that I was going to Young Life.
Me too.
Young Life. Yeah. Nice.
What?
Which parent is for those that don't know Young Life, that's where all the goody good kids went. It was like church light. Basically, right? How to be a good. Like,
I never went to one meeting. I don't even know what Young Life is. That's what you told your
parents were when you were drinking in the bar?
What?
Legendary.
Parent wouldn't let their kid go to Young Life.
So what'd you do? Chew gum when you got home, or what'd you do?
Went straight to my room.
Yep.
You don't hug your parent.
Well, that was pre-hug. Yeah.
That's right.
You only hugged them at weddings and funerals.
That was before the Hugs Not Drugs phase.
But 2 teachers walked in the Mannings while we're sitting there.
Was it like scandalous? Was it like, ooh, they're not married to each other?
No, they were quite cool about it. But they
but were they? Was it 2 guys? Was it a man and a woman?
No, it was 2 guys, 2 teachers from our high school.
Oh, how about that? Ace and was one of them named Gary and the other one Ace? Just
no, they were married, not to each other. But
well, that's how it starts, Mark. Anyway,
but they walked in, they looked at the 4 of us, and we just packed up and left.
We had ordered a beer, but it hadn't arrived yet.
But we did not exchange. There was no words exchanged, but there was a look, and we just got out of there.
And then we were at the principal's office the next day.
Oh, did you get called in?
I did.
Well, I was in the Honor Society.
4?
So I didn't get called in.
4? I got called in.
They called you in because someone saw you at a bar last night?
I said, we just go there for the popcorn. and play Duck Hunt.
And we never heard another word about it.
You want to enunciate that one.
No, but...
Oh, yeah? It came off as like, wow, can we say that on this podcast? Duck Hunt?
Yeah, this is what I have to go through every Friday night.
Boy, it doesn't feel like Friday today, does it? Because of the holiday yesterday.
Right, you're right.
And you guys are retired. Every day feels like Friday, probably, you bastards.
Well, some of us are retired.
You're retired. You're semi-retired.
I worked hard this month. I worked a lot.
5-6 hours. Hey, back to the principal's office. So were you only one that got dragged in? Was you, or did they take you separate?
No, I'm sure everyone got called in.
I don't know how we got out of it.
But were you called in for the...
I was called in for a lot.
For the Lake Johanna thing.
I was called in all the time. But
I had a calculus teacher that followed us to the beach.
Wait a
when
minute.
we were skipping his...
Hold on. I'm suspending disbelief here. You had a calculus teacher?
Yeah.
That's a sentence I can't even start. Wow.
It's all true.
This is like just totally ruining my whole perception of Mark.
He followed
I thought
us.
he was like a stoner guy who wound up being a successful pilot for 30 years.
I told you he played the tuba.
Okay, well that does help level him out a little bit.
You got to put the pieces together here.
All right.
We would
see the stoner play the tuba.
Oh, they don't got the lung capacity.
Exactly.
Or the shoulder strength.
Right.
Mark, you got followed by your calculus teacher.
Yes, because we used to skip his class all the time to play racquetball when it was big.
What a rebel.
Do you remember playing?
Well, we weren't going to the beach to play racquetball.
No, but we used to skip his class and play racquetball at that time.
Yeah, so we did a lot. We skipped classes.
You have to go to a real specific court to play. Were there a lot of racquetball courts around? Or
there were.
Right.
Back
you
at
played
that
in a
time.
parking lot and it just took forever because you were chasing the ball. Hey, nice serve. Shit, I'll get
it. Stop in the traffic.
We shouldn't have played by the hill. All right. That's how you got good at track.
But still, what teacher has the time to follow you? Because it's not like the beach was 3 minutes away. That was a 15-minute drive.
That's a little stalkery.
He goes,
It was creepy.
Mark, you were at the beach with 3 other people. And when I was called in, and I said, you know who the 3 other people are, because the principal's trying to get me to say who it was. And I said, he knows who it was. Why is he just calling me? He hated me.
Why did he hate you?
I don't know.
Because you're so cool?
He's so cool.
That was
And the
not
calculus
cool.
teacher was not cool when he was in high school. You know
That I can get my head around immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the not cool calculus
That's
teacher?
right.
Is that the guy who taught you
That
Fortran?
was his revenge.
Oh,
He's going to
That
show the
was-
homecoming queen. Okay. Wait, that's the
Freudian slip.
Truth always comes out. All right.
Sorry,
What
Ruth.
color dress did Mark wear?
Sorry, Ruth.
That's Ruth.
So,
Oh, I had something funny I was gonna say.
I said, I'm not going to say who it is.
I
He,
love it.
just ask him.
So you didn't rat out your
No, he never
fellas?
did.
No, they called my mom and she showed up at the school.
Did you yell like Attica? And can I tell you guys, since
Dog day afternoon.
I'm defending myself here, but I had a funny, and I think this might have been said on a podcast before, but Steve hasn't heard it. The first ever, I think it was President's Day, happened while I was a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Monday holiday, middle of January, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Washington's
No,
birthday.
it was in February.
February. That's
Yes.
Did they have like 2 separate? And then
Yeah,
they
it was
combined
there was Lincoln birthday, Washington.
that's
Yeah.
So the a friend of mine, Stacy R., her parents were in Florida on vacation, as people like to do, as you do, Steve, you snowbird, yeah. Anyway, she decided we're gonna have a party at my house. It was a gorgeous February day. You know how it is, end of the winter, like the back in the old days when there was snow in the winter and everything.
Right.
But it was like a 40-degree day, and the roof was just radiant. It was hot on the roof, so everybody went on her roof. Okay, drinking beers. About 3 guys had their football jerseys on. It said Rockets, and the number, and the local paper, the Post Bulletin, you might remember from your Rochester days, stops by, click, takes a picture.
Ooh.
The Associated Press picks up the picture.
Nice.
Stacy R.'s mom and dad are in Florida and see a picture of their house. But before that, the school principal and the head football coach saw a bunch of their football jerseys on, and people are just, everyone's got something to drink in their hand. And a lot of people got called in that day. It was kind of like, not me. I wasn't on the roof, so I was fine because I'm scared of heights, and I didn't play football either.
Sparkling water. That's what I would say I was drinking.
That was the night. This could have been like a dazed and confused kind of a day, because there was a guy, there's a buddy of mine, Ange, worked at Godfather's, and he went and he got a bunch of pizzas because he could get deals, right?
Was he on the deck?
Was he on the roof?
Yeah.
He might have been. I don't know if he was. I I don't know if he was on the football team in high school. He wasn't, because I used to hang out with him during football games, walk around the crowd, and we used to call, well, I can't really say this. This is an antiquated term, and everybody had like a jacket on, but it was, well, shit, I'll just say elbow, okay, where you'd walk through a crowd and you would graze a boob with your elbow. Is that wrong? That's wrong, isn't it?
We lived in a town that was small enough that
you couldn't throw an elbow tap.
No,
it wasn't like you were throwing them like you were.
You would be throwing it into the boob of the sister of someone who you knew, and
it's probably named Ruth. You know, Russian Roots.
It would be.
Or that old guy got pissed.
Or yeah. Once in a while, you're gonna hit a fella right in the old medullary gland.
And he's going. That really made my day.
I don't think I like that. This is that, but back to the pizza part. So Ange brought a bunch of pizzas, but prior to that, somebody had the bright idea. It's actually right after the pizzas, and there was always a couple of guys where it was like, you offer them free pizza, and they feel like it's a buffet, like an all-you-can-eat, and it's like, everyone grab a slice or whatever. So somebody got their revenge because they took some chocolate X-Lax, which looked just like candy bars, but they had X-Lax kind of Kit-Katted into them, you know what I mean? So, but they took a knife and kind of smoothed it out, and they're the same guys that eat a lot of pizza. Yeah. It's like you put a chocolate bar down. What are they going to do?
They picked that thing up.
A couple of guys got the shits that night, so that was kind of fun. But that's kind of dazed and confusing, right? Where
it is very
little hijinks that go on and shit like that. Anyway, the parents of Stacy R saw the picture, and then a couple days later in the paper, and there was consequences, I think.
The gig was up.
So, but this is not about me. This is about 1981. Also, that happened in 1982, which is close to 81.
I could bring up
and I didn't have a calculus teacher.
Station wagon. I had a station wagon.
We had a station wagon.
You had the Chevy.
Right.
And I had the Ford.
Exactly.
Can I say that parents should... Sorry, Steve. I'm just going to say this. I think that parents should be far more leery of a station wagon than a van. Prove me wrong.
I was not
that. Can go on. I mean...
I never got lucky in the back of station wagon. I never got lucky anywhere, so I don't think it matters.
You were not trying hard enough, brother.
I was going to say, you've got the credentials. You should have been getting lucky all the time.
No, I never got lucky.
I never got lucky either. It was all skill. Both times. Steve, tell me about your station wagon story.
Well, it was that we used to race every vehicle we had, including the station wagons.
Turn the air filter cap upside down, and it sounds like it's. Oh, it just sounds so cool.
But that was also back in that day. You knew that car because you worked on it, so you knew everything about it. And then you'd race it, and you'd break it down, you'd fix it.
That Ford 390 was an awesome engine.
So was that Chevy 400, and we would. That was the getting pulled over. I remember the first time I got pulled over. Are we
you
not
can talk about it. I'll sit this one out. No. I just won't participate.
Because we were talking about what kids do in cars in a snowy parking lot.
What did you call it? He had a different word for it. But
I called it shitties.
Yeah, we called them shitties.
We call them donuts, but
we call them Chuck Foremans.
That was it. Yeah,
Chuck Foremans.
Yeah, you do the Chuck Foreman spin.
He would do that twisty thing. You get to the line.
Chuck spin.
But it was the shopping center parking lot. The car was full of kids that we were all imbibing. And it was where they plowed up the snow and then snowed more fresh snow. And we were flying through the parking lot, smashing through the snowbanks, doing the Chuck Foremans. And finally, one of my friends say, Steve, there's a cop over there. He's been watching you. He just, because he couldn't get close to the car because the car was just, we were going
out of control.
Was it technically illegal, though?
Oh, my God. So just that whole encounter, that was the first time I ever been pulled over. So finally, when I realized it and I stopped, flipped down his chair, he came over. It was about 20 below. And he pulls up alongside and he rolls down his window and he could see what we had been doing earlier that night. And he just said, I could make your life so miserable right now. You drive right home. And that's how that deal worked.
And you drove right home.
And I did. I drove right home. I was all, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. Yes, sir. And I did. I just drove that thing right home. I think he followed me for a little way. I drove home, told my friends, boy, that was a close call. Get out of here.
Was it did you encounter that cop again?
We knew the cops.
Yes.
It was a good one.
Okay. That wasn't Rick the Rookie, was it?
No, it was one of the older guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were pretty, they know.
They probably you knew them all.
They saw us as harmless, but stupid. You know,
okay, I will say this, that in Rochester, especially if you were in sports, which I never got really pulled over in Rochester. Mm-hmm. I got some of my encounters happened after high school. Let's just say that in Mankato and other parts of Blue Earth County. So, but it seemed like in my hometown, the high school people, if you're on the sports team, you wanted to make sure you got pulled over on your side of town for starters. And they were typically, we'll follow you home or we'll drive you home. And
this is a follow you home thing.
Our town was small. I mean, you knew
every town was small, but it was part of the Twin City. That's the part I can't get my head around. Is that you think you have a small town
with the kids that their dads were the cop, so they knew you. You know, there's a difference between being a stupid kid doing, a harmless kid doing a stupid thing and a malicious.
You weren't trying to you weren't harming others per se, or taking their shit.
No. We were driving our car through.
We were harming our parents because if you hit like a dry patch in the parking lot, you're going to tear the rubber right off the rim.
But the last person you're going to worry about then is the cop. You're going to worry about your phone.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of cops, so I saw a thing on the news, and this isn't a political podcast, but there was the new chief was talking about hey, if you shoot fucking bottle rockets at us again, it won't end super well. I would think that if I'm a cop and someone's shooting a bottle rocket at me, I should be able to shoot that person. And I think if we just do that once, like rubber bullets even, that they'll probably go, hey, let's not do that anymore.
Was it the Chevy station wagon? Remember the old cars had the rails.
Cops killing people, but anyway, you guys talk about your...
And you would put the bottle rockets in the rain gutter, light them, and shoot them off, and it'd be like a missile off an airplane. They would
shoot forward. They would slide right up the rain gutter.
Oh, my God. Like Thundercats?
Oh, it was fun and games until one fell into the car.
Yes, that was your car, I think.
Did it go off in the car?
Yeah.
Yes, in the back seat. And I was back there. No, but everyone's trying to step.
Now you've got a burn hole in the floor. There are some things you could not explain away. One night I came home and
the burn hole in the floor.
I drove the car into the garage and just took out a corner of the wall. And my dad was out of town for about a week. And he came home. And while he was gone, I took all the Bondo and this brown spray paint. And I covered it up. And he came home and he never said one word.
Seriously?
How could you not? Oh, he saw it. I know he did.
Oh, okay.
And he just didn't say one
word. I think you're an excellent tagger.
An excellent body work guy. Yeah, right.
So my dad was like, you would do everything, like you would put Bondo or everything else, and he would be able to identify the type of bug that splatted on the windshield and go, that's in the country. Where were you last night? Well, you know what I mean? Where it was like, they don't have those.
Why do you have mayflies on your windshield?
Yeah.
Were you in Monona County last night?
I was telling him about, I got stuck in a snowbank and I cleaned all the snow off, but the front license plate was bent a little bit. And that's how he got caught by my dad.
Sounds like Steve's parents were awesome and our parents were little they were like little Berettas, little Kojaks.
Parents.
A lollipop?
But no, that was a whole free range, bordering on feral child upbringing.
But we were never malicious.
That was my house. That's right.
We were never malicious with our stuff. We were just having a good time.
You were just having fun, but you weren't.
We never heard
taking away from other people's
damage other property,
liberties,
which our parents should be pissed about because we're damaging their goods.
Do they need to know that? I mean, well,
are your parents still alive, Steve?
My dad still is. I mean,
okay. Have you ever had the conversations about, hey, do you know about this shit?
No way. I was just thinking about another little.
Why not?
Wintertime game. You remember used to put the garbage cans out with the
old metal cans.
Yeah, that's the only kind they had then.
And the big snowbanks, and you would drive down and you just wham right through the garbage can of the snowbank. Now that was a little distracting.
Steve, I'm going to give you something to ponder.
Yes.
And that would be to have that conversation with your dad, just to find out. Just say, hey, Dad, do you know the kind of crud we did? And I bet he knew more than you think. But I think those would be great conversations. I wish my dad were alive, because that's the kind of crap I talked to my dad about. And it was my dad was a hardo. I mean, he was one of these guys where he would get the middle finger and walk up to you and he'd get you a little couple sternum
thumbs.
That's why
you were the straight and narrow.
And he would go, hey, friend. It was like, oh no, if he's my friend, uh-oh. I see what friends can do. They can punch you. But anyway, he never did. But it's like, well, one day we'll look back and laugh kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
did he laugh?
Float a thing or two. Oh, he laughed his ass off. He was like, you kids were so, you thought you were so smart. We kind of.
It's 40 years in the past. What does it matter? I mean, I
just think it would be funny. Mark, how about you? I mean, your dad's gone. Did you ever talk about that kind of stuff with your dad?
We kind of danced around it, but he was very gracious in not bringing it up because it was so. Some of the things I did was idiotic, and he didn't want to make fun of me. So it was very kind of him, and I wasn't going to bring it up because
idiotic. National Honor Society, idiot.
There's an idiot in every boy. I'm just saying.
I had a couple of them. Hold on, phrasing.
I said
that's just for that mental hospital.
I didn't say the entire child is an idiot. I'm just saying within every boy lives that little idiot, and sometimes they take control. That's the nature of boys.
I drove across Mark's lawn one time in the wintertime, not realizing, oh, you know what? That's going to leave tire tracks.
And
I was
so you were not a boy anymore.
I was a full ass.
I was very anal about my grass when I was living here.
I think he was poking the bear.
He was.
No, it wasn't specifically with that. I thought it would be funny.
It was very early.
It was early on. It was disrespectful, but it wasn't meant to disrespect. It was.
And then when he found out how serious I was about my lawn, and then he like, oh, I am so
Then
sorry.
he moved 15 years later. He really showed me. I was like, look at it. I have so much lawn. Go ahead and drive over it. I don't care. Cool. What was that called?
Zubas.
Well, that what was the car that you had? The one that.
The Suzuki Psychic.
Yeah. It wouldn't even have.
Cool car.
Probably wouldn't even have dented the grass.
I was pulling out some neighbor bushes. You know those old
clarity. One of our neighbors' shrubberies were need a replacement.
This Monty Python shrubbery. The neighbor's ground clutter type,
right?
And it had roots going everywhere. So I put it in 4-wheel drive. And
helpful neighbor you are.
I pulled that thing out.
How did they determine that car had the nuts to...
It didn't.
Well, but it was like the least ballsy car in the neighborhood.
It was. And...
Was this Roy?
Which part of the...
No, it was Tim.
Next to Roy, okay.
Yeah. And I pulled it out, and Todd, one of the people that was with us during the origination of the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, Todd O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we pulled it out. It took a lot of grunt from the car. And he goes, do you have a dead fish in your car? It was a 4-wheel burning up.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
So I sold it 2 weeks later and made a killing on it. I made good money on it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I traded it in.
Oh,
okay. I told him, I said the 4-wheel drive was burning up.
Do you like
fish? Are you pescatarian?
He said, we're a non-religious car dealership here.
So did you go to the REO Speedwagon concert?
Yeah, REO 38 Special, whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where? outdoors.
The meth.
It feels outdoor.
The meth.
Everything was at the meth.
They had a lock on that whole thing back then. That was the only venue that was big enough for those bands.
You might know my wife. So she's your age. You're 1981 circa. You probably wouldn't have met her at the National Honor Society because birds of a feather. But she lived in Bloomington. No, she did live in Bloomington. The apparently comes in where she went to a lot of concerts that she never made it into the building, where she would just go and tailgate, where she didn't have a ticket, right? She wasn't intending to go to the show, but you would just go to the Met Center parking lot and party, and that actually sounds pretty goddamn fun.
I was disappointed with REO. They played...
How do you remember the details of those concerts?
Because they played the live album, exactly. I could have listened to the live album.
Lip syncing. I would watch those drummers sometimes. I wondered about that with some of those concerts. It sounded so much like the recorded album.
Yes.
And I'd be watching the drummer trying to see if he's going to miss a beat. But I'm suspicious about lip syncing back in those days before people got busted for it. Because you're right. It sounded exactly like the album.
The guitar solo was exactly like the album.
And why would you not? All these people out in the audience are stoned and drunk.
Kind of mail it in once in a while.
Who cares?
Wow, I never thought of that. Now I'm even more disappointed. Why did I pay money?
Because all your friends were there. We were all there together for the big party. That's what it was all about. I mean, yeah, you're right.
It wasn't worth that kind of money in high school.
What if there were like 3 REO shows the same night across the country, and they just had guys that look like REO?
It's a franchise. You just have to look like
There's
REO.
like the real singers in one band, the real guitar players in another one.
Right.
That's like the...
no one will ever know.
That's like a pet... What was that place called? Petter? Tom Petter?
That's right.
Something warehouse. He was like had a Ponzi scheme going on.
No, he was a car dealer guy. Oh, he also was Sun Country.
Yeah, he owned Sun Country.
Did he sell pillows?
And Polaroid.
I don't know.
Polaroid?
Did he?
Yeah.
He sold My Pillow.
That's not a Minnesota company. Polaroid?
No, but he owned a lot of these companies, and it was. I think he's still in prison, or is he alive?
He might be in prison.
All right, I got a late breaking news. 1981 music, Rick Springfield. All right, and the episode's over. We're going to do a third one, and this is the only time ever that a third episode is going to work. And you'll hear from Steve again in the future, because usually the third episode is put it up on the shelf next to the raisins and peaches, if you know what I'm talking about. Peaches are a little lower, but anyway, if you want to be anatomically correct about it.
Right next to the pithy stems.
You're goddamn right. See, that would be pithy. It was
right.
terse and cogent.
To the point.
So, big thanks to Mark's friend Steve. Oh, Mark's best friend Steve. To Mark.
Only best friend Steve.
I guess technically,
not the only friend.
Best is best. Steve is Mark's Ange. I got a Ange. Who I don't think he listens. Good for him. Smart. But Mark, we could talk about him next episode. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening. See you later. Yeah, bye.